Hey guys, this week I'm going to show you how to install this smart dimmer switch. Stick around. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. As I said before, this week we're going to be installing a smart dimmer switch. The brand is Lumary, and this is a smart Wi-Fi dimmer switch. The number is LDS100. So basically, I've already installed a dimmer switch a while back and some recessed lighting that I put in my living room. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link down in the description below of how to install some recessed lighting and how I installed that dimmer switch also. But basically what we're going to be doing is switching out the original dimmer switch that I have with this smart dimmer switch. And the reason being is because I can actually control this on my phone, which is pretty cool. They have an app that you download on it. You can control the dim part. You can dim it or brighten it or whatever to whatever percentage you want to. Basically, you can turn it on and off from your phone. You can set schedules for it if you'd like to. So it's pretty neat, you know. And there is a way that you can do voice command and stuff like that if you have Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa. I don't have any of those, so I'm not going to be covering that in this video, but we'll show you how to actually wire up this, how to install it, how to use it on your phone, and things like that. So anyway, if you like videos like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. Let's get started. Alright guys, so here's the switch we're going to be changing out today. This is the Lumary Smart Wi-Fi Dimmer Switch. The number on it is LDS100. And I'll be sure and put a link down in the description below where you can get this switch. So let's go ahead and take a look at the box. It says you can control it anywhere, set schedules, share access. It's dimmable, it's voice controllable, and touchable. Alright, here's the other parts of the box here. So you got to download the app, install the switch, and connect it. And here on the back, whoops, it's upside down. Here's the bottom of it here. It shows you what's inside the box here. Smart Wi-Fi light switch, one faceplate, 4 wire nuts, 2 screws, a starting guide, and it's got an asterisk next to this. Smartphone not included. Not sure why they had to put that on there, but no, you're not getting a smartphone when you buy this switch. Alright guys, let's go ahead and open this box now. So right in the very top, it's got your wire labels, so you can label your wires. You don't have to do that, that's just, it comes with it. Here's your light switch right here. And it does have a warning sticker on the back here. So let's read that real quick. Caution: to reduce the risk of overheating and possible damage to other equipment, do not install to control a receptacle, a motor operated appliance, a fluorescent lighting fixture, or a transformer supplied appliance. So in other words, you should be able to use this for LED lights, you should be able to use it for incandescent bulbs, and I would assume you'd be able to use it for CFL bulbs because they're low wattage. So basically just regular light switches, and you need to make sure that they are dimmable before you install this. Some lights are not dimmable, and you need to know that. So if you're just replacing an old dimmer switch, this will work fine, basically. Alright, so we'll open up the rest of this. We've got 4 wire nuts, 2 screws inside of this package here. It's got this support, basically. So it's got a QR code here that'll take you to a video to show you how to do it step by step. Or you can just follow this video, whichever one you prefer, I suppose. It looks like it's got 2 little pamphlets here. It's got the Smart Wi-Fi Dimmer Switch Start Guide, which looks like it's going to show you what all comes in the box, how to set up the app, and it's got a wiring diagram here. But I am going to be showing you how to wire this up, so you don't have to worry too much about that. It basically tells you a little bit about how to set it up and how to use it on your phone and stuff. It also comes with a voice control guide. Now I personally don't have Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa, so I don't have a smart hub in my house and I don't have it set up on my phone, so I'm not going to be showing you how to do this. But I'm sure you could probably just flip through here and figure out how it works. I assume it's not too complicated, but like I said, I've never had one of those, and I honestly don't plan on getting one. So you can actually use this you have to download an app, and you can control the dimmer switch on that app, and that's really all I care about doing personally. It also comes with a cover. This cover doesn't have any screw holes in it, so it'll just snap right on. Let's see here. You can see here it's got these little pieces right here. Those are going to snap on to your light here, or your switch. I apologize, your light switch here. So let's see here. Right here, you'll see these little notches here. So it's basically just going to snap right into place right there, just like that. But you'll do that after you've already wired it up, of course. You can do that while it's on the wall. So that's not a big deal. Right, we'll just take that back off. We're going to be installing it on some recessed lighting that I had installed quite a while ago, and I already had a dimmer switch on them, so I'm just going to show you how to change out just a regular dimmer switch with this smart dimmer switch and kind of how it works from there. Show you a little bit of how the app works. I'm not going to be showing you the voice control part of it, but if you really want to do that, you can read through there. Surely it's not too difficult. I just don't have one of those set up, and I honestly don't plan to get one. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, this is the dimmer switch we're going to be changing out with the Smart Dimmer Switch by Lumary. Now the very first thing you're going to want to do is to turn off the breaker that controls this switch. So we'll go do that now. Alright, now that we've verified that the power has been turned off, we're going to go ahead and take off the cover panel. You will want to have a work light as you're doing this. So I do have one, which is why we're going to have some crazy shadows while I'm doing this, of course. But I definitely suggest having one. It makes it a lot easier to work on things like this when you can actually see. Alright, we're going to set this to the side. I'm going to use my voltage detector. We'll turn it on. And we'll test to make sure there's no power coming into this box here before we start messing with it. Alright, there's not. So now we're going to go ahead and take these screws out that are holding our old dimmer switch in place. Alright, now we're going to pull this out without touching any wires first. And we're going to use our voltage detector once again to be 100% sure that there's no power coming to this at all. If it does have power, it'll do like this. So if you just hear a little beep, like you did whenever I move it in just the right position, that doesn't mean there's actually power to it. But yeah, I've gone all over these wires here. There's no power going to it. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect it. I'll just leave that way actually. And I'll just take it off right here. Alright, now that we have everything disconnected here, we're going to kind of separate this. I'm going to leave these grounds tied together. When I installed this, I went ahead and put a third wire on this just so I could run it straight to the dimmer switch. And we are going to be using our white wires to put in our new dimmer switch. So we'll have to undo these also. Alright, so everything's disconnected except for our grounds, and that's just fine right there. Alright guys, now we have our new switch right here. You'll notice there's 4 wires here, and our old switch only had 3 hookups. So the way we had it set up before was our 2 whites were just tied together over inside the box, and our black wires were on either side of the switch, and our ground wire just went to the green screw to ground the plug. Now on this one, there's 4 wires here. You have your black, your brown, white, and green. Green's going to be your ground. The white is going to be connected to both of these whites. The black is going to be connected to the incoming power. This is where it actually makes a difference. And the brown needs to be going to where the load is, or where your light's going to be. So the way we're going to find this out, I know that this one is my incoming power, but if you didn't wire your own your light up, then you'll need to figure out which one's which. Now an easy way to do this is to separate all your wires, make sure they're not anywhere near touching each other or anything like that. Your ground wires will be fine, but your blacks, your whites, they all need to be separate. Once you have them separate, make sure nobody is going to be coming near this as you're doing this, because you're going to be turning the power on to test which one of these has power to it. You want to be very safe about this, so you may want somebody else to turn the breaker on as you test it. And that way you'll know nobody else is going to come over here and touch one of these bare wires. So what we're going to do now, like I said, I've got these separated. I'm going to go down to the breaker box, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to show you how to tell which one is going to be your incoming power. Alright guys, so now that I've got the power turned back on, we're going to use our voltage detector here, and we're going to just test these here to see which one's actually got power. This is the one right here with the incoming power. So we're going to be connecting this one to our black wire. Now we're going to go turn our power back off before we do anything else. Alright guys, before you get back to work, you want to verify that there's no power coming into this before you start touching wires. Do this every time you turn your power on and off, just to make sure you don't get confused and leave it on. But we know there's no power coming to this now, and we know which one of these wires we're going to be hooking to our black wire. Alright, we're just going to take this sticker off the back here. We're going to attempt to take the sticker off the back here. There we go. Alright, so we know our whites are going to go together. We know our greens are going to connect to our ground here. And we know this black is going to connect to this black wire right here. So we'll go ahead and use the wire nuts that they provided here. We'll go ahead and connect our black wires first. And I'm actually going to trim this down to where that's the same length. That way I don't have this up here and have some exposed wire. So we'll go ahead and take our wire cutters here and cut off about, let's say about 1/8 inch or so. Alright, now they're pretty close to the same length here. Alright, you want to make sure you got it in there good and snug, and make sure your wires aren't going to come loose. So that one's good. We'll go ahead and connect our ground wire. Alright, now we'll go ahead and connect our brown wire, which is going to go to our other black wire. We'll trim it down just a little bit also. Trying to catch these so my kids don't find the little chunks of metal. Alright, so yeah, we're going to have to trim a little bit off of the white wires as well. We'll do that to both of these. Now, since I'm connecting 3 of these wires together here, the wire nut they provided may not be the right size. We're going to try it and see. You may have to get a bigger size for this. But we're going to try it. See if it's all going to fit in here. Alright, no. Everything fit perfectly there. Nothing's loose or anything like that. Alright, now that we have all of our wires connected, we're going to go ahead and shove these wires back into the back here. Now, anytime I install new electrical anything, I always like getting the deep boxes because all the newer stuff, all the newer dimmer switches and things like that, they take up a lot of room, as you can see here. I've got to finagle this quite a bit to get it to all to fit. All right, so I'm going to actually have to shove the main wires back up here a little bit, back up into the wall. There we go. Just a little bit of a chore to get all this to fit. Alright, that's sitting pretty good there. Alright, so they provided us with 2 screws to screw this into our box. So we'll get our Phillips screwdriver handy. And then you definitely want to drop your screwdriver just to make sure things are working right. And drop it a second time just to be sure. Now this has become, how many times am I going to drop the screwdriver? Alright, now we're going to get these really snug here. You don't want to over tighten them because it could break your plastic. And you want to make sure that this looks pretty straight before you put on your cover here. Which I left in here. Alright, looks like the gap's even on both sides here. And these are pretty snug, so we're going to go ahead and take our cover that came with it, and we're just going to snap it into place. Alright, so we're going to have to adjust it this way, because it won't fit next to this one here. I'm not the biggest fan of these no screw. There it goes. Alright, snapped into place. Now we're good to go. Alright, so you got a reset button, a restart button, and then you have the actual button that adjusts this. Now before we get into our app and all that stuff, we're going to go ahead and turn our power on and make sure that it's working properly. Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and turn our light on. You'll press that bottom there, and you'll see that it's got 5 different settings, 6 if you include off. So you've got 100%, 80, 60, 40, and then 20. And the way you're going to adjust this, instead of pressing it to where you want it, well, I mean, I guess you can just barely touch it, pretty much. You just run your fingers down it. It's pretty sensitive too, so that's pretty neat. I've never seen it, a dimmer switch like that before. So like I said, you can bring it all the way down to 20%, 40, 60, 80, and 100%. So that's the manual mode of using this, and then you can turn it on and off just by touching it. Alright, now to connect your device to Wi-Fi, we're going to hit the restart button on the right hand side. There's a reset and a restart. We're going to press and hold the restart until it starts flashing. Then we're going to add a device on the app. We're going to go to lighting Wi-Fi. It says to make sure that it's blinking, which it is. We'll confirm that. It's still showing my password for some freaking reason. We'll just blur that out. And then we're going to hit confirm. You do want to make sure it's a 2.4 gigahertz internet connection. For some reason a 5 gigahertz won't work, but it says that in your instructions. So now we're just going to wait for it to connect, and when it does, it'll stop blinking. Alright, it says we're done. Alright, now I should be able to adjust the brightness and be able to turn it on and off on our phone. Alright guys, so now that we have it set up on our app, I'm in the app right now and I can turn the lights on and back off again. Or off and then back on again, I guess I should say. You can also adjust the brightness, and it'll go all the way down to 2% brightness, and each percentage all the way up to 100%. You can also go to the settings and set a minimum brightness. So say that you want to set it to 20%. You'll set that as the minimum it'll go, and then when you go to your brightness to dim it, you can turn it all the way up to 100%, and then when you turn it down all the way, it'll only go to 20%. You can also set, let's turn that back up real quick. You can also set schedules. So basically you can have it turn on at a certain time or turn off at a certain time, and you can go through there and hit repeat for whatever days of the week or all of them. So basically, say you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you want the lights to be on as you're getting up so you're not stumbling through your house in the dark, then you can have it set up to turn on at 6 o'clock in the morning. And if you go to bed at, say, 10 o'clock at night, then you could have them turn off at 10 o'clock to either to let you know, hey, it's time to go to bed, stop playing your video games. Or, hey, you can have it turn off once you get to your bedroom so you're not having to walk through the house in the dark or whatever. You can put notes in there, which is basically just labeling or naming your schedule, I guess. And you can also turn on and off notifications. And I'm assuming that just tells you, hey, the lights are on now, or hey, the lights turned off now. And that's pretty much the extent of what you can do on the app here. You can also set it up using your voice control guide. And I don't have anything set up for that. But it says it does work with Google Assist and Amazon Alexa. Like I said, I don't have one of those, I think they're called hubs, set up in the house. But you can have it set up on your phone, or you can use that hub. And you can have it turn your lights on and off. You just say, hey, Google, turn on the lights or turn off the lights. And I think you have to name each specific one. So if you only have one in your house, I guess you could just name it the lights. And you can say turn on or off the lights, or turn the lights to 50%. Or if you had one for each room in your house, you can say, hey, set the living room to 50%. Or, hey, dim the porch light. So that's pretty much the extent of what you can do with this. There is a little booklet here that tells you how to set up your voice command thing. Like I said, I don't have one to set up, or I'd show you how to do that. But that's pretty much the extent of this. I think it's a pretty neat little thing to have. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. and I'll see you next week.